4 in a row now for Ipswich Town. Accrington Stanley seen off at Portman Road, and 4 wins heading into a really big game at Bolton at the weekend, Stu. That's what we wanted to see from Town.
Yep, we called upon them to go and win 4 in a row, and they've done that. Teams all in the bottom third of the table, but there was a job to be done, and Ipswich Town have done it. Bit of winning momentum now. I think last year I called you out for maybe going a bit early with the M word after the MK Dons game. I'll give it to you now. 4 in a row, 5 clean sheets as well. That was comfortable tonight. I never really felt like that was in danger.
No, and that's what we want to see from Town in these games, really, isn't it? I'll be honest, I think that's the worst Accrington Stanley team that I've seen. We've obviously been knocking heads with them, Ipswich in League One for those 4 years now. That's the worst one that I've seen. But job to be done, and they did it. Yes, all of these teams have been at the lower end of the division, but I think in all of those games, we've seen Ipswich Town grow, and I like what I'm seeing from this team heading into the bigger games now. There's partnerships growing, players growing into roles. We've seen players who haven't been starting games come in and contribute tonight, and I really like what I'm seeing from them.
Yeah, I would say as an opponent, Accrington was somewhere between marginally better than Forest Green, but not anywhere near as good as Burton from the weekend. That's probably where I'd have put that ranking in these last few games. But it's about what Ipswich can do, isn't it? We've been saying that for a long time, and as you rightly say, it's coming together quite nicely tonight. Kieran McKenna only made a couple of changes to his team. He's, aware that momentum is crucial for Ipswich at the moment. Stuck with more or less the same team. It was just the two players down the right that changed. Janoy Danassian in for Harry Clark, Caden Jackson in for Wes Burns, and they picked up where they left off at the weekend. Got the first goal inside 12 minutes. A very good goal it was too, and never really felt in doubt. I didn't think Accrington ever had enough to get back into that.
No, I don't think so. I like the way that right side started. I don't think Accrington played them very well at all. They gave Caden Jackson. They didn't necessarily give him the space, but they gave Ipswich the encouragement to use Caden Jackson's pace, and he caused the left side of their defence real problems early, and produced a really nice cross for Nathan Broadhead to score. And he's loving life at Portman Road, isn't he? He's made himself at home really nicely. 4 goals, 2 assists already for him, and I think he's only started 5 games here at Portman Road. Yeah, well, I want to give him another assist really, because his twinkle toes he won't. It doesn't go down as an assist, but he made that second goal as well, didn't he? Tonight.
Don't use the phrase pre-assist here.
Not a chance, and he won't get it. But his contribution there was. I didn't think he had the involvement that he's had in other games. I think he's played better than in other games, but I've got no problem with that. He's producing the big moments when they matter. That's what he's here for. That's what they paid the money for, and he's delivering. Keep going like that, and he's a serious part of this team. Yeah.
Well, let's quickly run through the goals. The first goal is Massimo Luongo. Brilliantly weighted forward pass. Caden Jackson, excellent low cross on the run. Nathan Broadhead arrives right time, right place. Side foot's home from 6 yards out. That's a classic Ipswich Town goal. That's the patterns of play that we see from Ipswich so often. And then, we come on to that second goal that you've just mentioned. That was a lovely bit of play from Nathan Broadhead. The ball was glued to his foot, wasn't it, as he went past a player in the box along the byline. Picks out Massimo Luongo 6 yards out. He somehow manages to lift the shot against the crossbar, but there's Caden Jackson to gobble up the rebound.
He also snaffled it. Luongo looked absolutely devastated that wasn't his shot that ended up in the back of the net. But it doesn't matter who scores them. Caden Jackson scored it, and look, 2-0 killed it. Before then, there were a few. I think jittery is maybe doing it, overhyping what they were. A few moments where you could potentially.
While it was 0-0, there's always that doubt, isn't there, that one moment could lead to something and the atmosphere could turn a little bit. There was one in stoppage time in the first half where Walton had to make a save where Ipswich maybe just switched off, but by and large they defended very well, and once that second goal went in, no problem. And then that game sort of drifted towards its conclusion. Everyone in that stadium, both sets of players, all the supporters knew that game was done. and then we got to stoppage time and their goalkeeper gets sent off.
John Coleman is not very happy about that. I've heard his post-match interview. He's I think there might have been some Accrington issues going into this game in terms of when they might have found out that certain players were suspended for things. I'm not sure of all of the details on that one, but I've heard parts of his post-match interview, and he's really, really not happy with that red card, which is actually quite inconsequential on the result. But I think it's maybe a sign of how he's feeling about his team at the moment. Jensen sent off. Harry Clark, those long legs, slightly high knees, reminds me of Herman Hreiderson a little bit at times. Striding forward, brought down. Coleman's not happy, but Kyle Edwards is happy because he curled in a beautiful free kick, and the grin came out. The job was done. 3-0 Town, and four wins secured.
Yeah, nice way to go into Saturday's game at Bolton. The gap to the top two remains at 5, sadly, because Plymouth came from behind to beat Derby at home today. So that's the only slight dampener on tonight. But Ipswich Town have teed up Saturday very nicely. We'll see you at Bolton.